Right, so let's look at appending items to a list. For this example, we'll allow customers to choose which parts they need when buying a computer. I'll keep it simple to start with. We'll just offer 5 items for sale. Now, we saw how to write a simple menu in the challenge at the end of the last section. This program will start off very similar to that. So let's start by creating a new Python file. I'm going to call it buy_computer.py. Alright, so first we need to initialize a couple of variables. We need a variable to store the customer's choice as well as an empty list to add items to. So on line 1, current_choice equals double quotes with a dash character or minus character in there. We talked about the reasons for using that in the last section. Line 2, computer_parts equals, and just left to right square braces. And a comment there, create an empty list. Again, that's going to be a list to store the items. Alright, so the code to display the menu is the same as we've used before. It's just the description of the items that have changed. So I'm going to start on line 4 by typing while current_choice is not equal to, in a single quotes, 0, colon. Then the next line, if current_choice is in, and in double quotes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, colon, print, parentheses, double quotes, adding, left to right curly braces, double quotes, dot, format, and in parentheses, current_choice, and 2 right parentheses to finish the line. Press enter there, and backspace. We're going to start on line 8, then else, colon, then we're going to print out our menu options. So print, parentheses, please add options from the list below. Then double quote and right parentheses. Next line, print, parentheses, double quotes, 1 colon, computer. And double quotes and right parentheses. Next line, print, parentheses, 2, and double quotes, 2 rather, monitor. That's the next item there. Moving on to the next line, print, parentheses, double quotes, 3 colon, keyboard. And a double quotes and right parentheses. Next line, print, parentheses, 4, double quotes, in 4 rather, or 4 in double quotes, mouse. And a double quotes and parentheses. Next line, print, 5, in parentheses, in double quotes, which is also in parentheses, mouse mat. And there's our 5 options. And the only other one we want after entering the double quote and right parentheses is our option to exit. Print, that's on the next line, parentheses, double quotes, 0 colon, to finish. Double quote and right parentheses. And then we're going to go down to line 17 at the same level as the if and the else. Current_choice is equal to input, left to right parentheses. When you're starting out learning to program, it's a good idea to run your code often. That way you can spot errors and fix them without having hundreds of lines of code to work through. I'm going to run the program that we've got so far to make sure it works as we expect. Let's run it. You can see there we've got a menu, so that's a good start. Let's start by trying to add a few options. We're going to start by adding a monitor, option 2. And we got the message there, adding 2 printed. Try adding 4 now for a mouse. Adding 4. So a mouse also works. Now you should test all the valid options to make sure you get the appropriate message printed. I won't go through all of them in the video. Pause the video and check the other options yourself. Now we should also test what happens when we enter something invalid. So I'm going to try entering 8 here, which obviously isn't an option there. The menu doesn't have an option 8, so nothing's added. Our code displays the menu again, so that's also working fine. We'll try 0 now to finish, and the program's exited. Alright, so far so good. The next step is to add the items to the list. At the moment, our computer_parts list, that's the one we've defined up here on line 2, is empty. We've used square brackets with nothing between them on line 2, and that creates an empty list, as the comment said. Inside the if block, we can append new items to the list. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to add it under the print statement on line 6. So I'm going to type if and indent it at the same level. Current_choice is equal to 1, and 1 in single quotes, 2 equal signs there, colon. Then we're going to do computer_parts dot append, and in parentheses, computer in double quotes. So the code here, if the customer chooses option 1, we add a computer to the list. We do that by calling the list's append method. The argument is the thing we want to append, a computer in this case. That's the text in double quotes on line 8. Alright, so the other items are more of the same. I'm going to paste the code in here to save a bit of time. Alright, so there's the code that I've pasted in there now. Alright, so pause the video while you enter the remaining code and come back when you're ready to continue. Okay, so those blocks of code use the append method to add the items to the list. So there's a few things wrong with this code. We have to duplicate the 5 strings for one thing. The string computer on line 8 also appears in the code on line 20. Let's take the opportunity to fix this up as well. I'm going to remove that extra line there. So you can see the duplication there. Again, computer line 8 as well as on line 19 now. Adding a new option also involves a lot of work. We've had to change the code in 3 places. But let's make sure it works before we start improving the code. To make sure it's working, we need to print out the computer underscore parts list that we're appending to. So let's do that right at the end of the program. So I'm going to do that right down here on line 28, indented to the left, so it's executed when the program finishes. Print parentheses computer underscore parts, closing right parentheses there. And again, make sure that line isn't indented. Basically, we want the list to be printed out when the loop exits, as I mentioned. So let's run that. Let's choose some items now to add to our list. We'll start with option 1, computer. Let's do another one, option 4, which is the mouse. Let's exit by selecting 0. And you can see we've got a list there containing a computer and a mouse. So that code's working fine, but it isn't very clean though. There's a lot of duplication, and making changes to the menu is a lot harder than it should be. Improving the program is a good way to see some of the other things we can do with lists, and we'll make a start on that in the next video. But I'm going to finish this video first with a mini challenge. Change the program to have another option, option 6, for a HDMI cable. So remember that you'll need to make a change in 3 places. Have a go, test your code thoroughly, and I'll go over my solution to that in the next video.